Hey folks, we are back on trail, and today I am making another video in my Hammock Camping 101 series, and today we'll be looking at where my dog sleeps when I go hammock camping. Let's get to it. She can play and drink all she wants. She's like, well, maybe not. I am here with my dog Sherpa, and today's video is going to focus on how I sleep with a Sherpa when I go backpacking, when I'm using a hammock. And there are a couple of options that I use, and we're going to look at those different options and see what the pros and cons are of each and which one I prefer. All right, let's get it set up. When I go backpacking with Sherpa, I need a safe and secure place for her to sleep at night. Now, when I am backpacking with Nancy and Sherpa comes along, Sherpa just sleeps in her tent, so I don't need to bring any extra type of gear. But when it's just Sherpa and I'm hammock camping, I need to bring some extra gear that's going to give her that safe place at night when she sleeps. And there's a couple options that we're going to look at today. The first is a pup tent that is made by Dutch, and it is a pyramid tent that hangs from the end of your hammock, and it gives a nice enclosed space for your dog when she sleeps at night. So let's get this set up, and then I'll talk about the pros and cons of this tent. This is the Dutchware Pup Tent, and it is basically a pyramid that hangs from your continuous loop of your hammock. So the pup tent hangs from your continuous loop with this small little carabiner, and it has this shock cord which stretches, so you can change, depending on how high your hammock is. And when you get in your hammock, it's just gonna dip down a little bit. So that's something that you're gonna have to consider when hanging the pup tent. It has 3 corners that are staked out. So it has these little loops at the end. I just put a stake in it, and I've got all 3 corners. And then it has a mesh front side, and the other 2 sides are just the normal kind of tent-like fabric that are on it. So this is where she will come in and out of her tent. All right, so let's see Sherpa in action. So you got your zipper. Zip that up. And you can zip that out. All right. And it gives her plenty of room. So, Sherpa is an 80-pound lab. Hey, Sherpa, you want to get into your tent? And this is plenty of room for her. Come here, let me. You'll also notice I've got a backpack on her. And here, let me take this off. Come here. And I'll kind of show you what I do with her gear while I do this. So this is really great. It unzips right. You just take your leg. Come here. Like that. Okay. Whoa, easy. No. All right. So what I do is I put her stuff in waterproof sacks because she's a lab. She loves to get into the water, and so it allows her to get in the water without me having any worries about all of her gear getting wet. So that's the other tent we're going to look at in here in a minute. But She'll carry her dog food in here. She'll carry, this is her bed. So this will be her bed. Again, I put that in a waterproof sack. And we'll just roll this out. Give her a little insulation at night. So it's a dog bed that I will lay out. And then, all right, get in your bed, get in your bed. Go in your bed, good girl. And then that's where she'll sleep at night. So I really do like the pup tent. It's pretty easy for setup. Just the carabiner on the continuous loop and staking at the ends, and that's great. She has easy access to it. She has no problem getting in and out of the tent. It's plenty of room for her. I mean, she's an 80-pound lab, and she has slept in it a few nights just fine. And so she'll come in here and just relax when she wants to. And I like having just kind of that mesh door on one side. You can flip that back, and then she can just come in and out as she likes. So this really is a great option. It's lightweight, it's easy to set up, it works well for her. But there are a couple issues that I have with the pup tent. The first is when I get into my hammock, this is going to come down. And so it takes a little bit of adjusting to make sure that that is right. And that's not too big a deal. I mean, if that kind of goes down on her, it's not going to, it's not going to bother her because she's laying down in the tent. But that's just kind of something that's a little bit annoying. The other issue that I have with this tent is the fabric. It doesn't seem to be the sturdiest fabric. So you can see here I tore the loop off of the end of this tent, so I had to put a little half hitch knot on it to my stake to stake it out. And again, no big deal, I'm able to work around it. But I think when I'm pulling out my stakes, it ripped the loop off. And so I had to kind of make do with that. But really, I think the main issue I have with this tent is when I get into my hammock. So if I get into my hammock, you can see how it's dipped down. But again, it's really not an issue for her when she gets in. But the issue I have is that when I get into my hammock like this, I can't see her. I can't see my dog, and she's kind of zipped and locked away. And so it's hard for me to tell if she's cold, maybe she's scared, maybe she has to go to the bathroom or something. And I remember we were at the Wind River Range doing the Circuit Towers loop, and a huge, horrible storm came through, probably one of the worst that I've been backpacking through, and it lasted probably a couple of hours. And she was in the pup tent. I was trying it out, and she didn't make a sound, she didn't whine, she didn't cry, but I wanted to have better access to her. And with the pup tent, I can't really do that. I mean, she's safe in there, she's enclosed, no other animal is going to get to her, she's not going to leave camp. So all those things are great. But in times of like a big storm like that, I would have liked to be able to have Sherpa right next to me and just make sure she is okay. And because of that, I looked for a different option for how I can go backpacking with my dog. And that's when I found the Grand Trunk. So let's get that set up. So you have to unhook one side, make sure that the door is open, and you find the end, and you hook it back up. Right. So that will take care of that. Then you unhook the other end. Pull it through this opening. Again, hang it to the height that you want it. Yeah, that may need to be a little higher. Nope, I think that's gonna make sure your hammock is where you want it. Yeah. Okay. Now, you tighten it up like you do a tarp. And there you go. That is the grand trunk. So how you hang it is there's a cinch cord here which can help close it up so no bugs get in. And then I just use a simple Dutch wasp to wrap around the tree, and then I can tighten that up as needed. And I do that obviously on both ends, just as if I were hanging a tarp. I hang this, and then it has 4 loops on the corners that I just put a stake in. And that's about it. All right, let's go set it up. So just unzip this, put her bed in there. Generally put her at the feet of where I'm gonna hang in. And then I get in. All right. Sherpa, you want to come on in? Come on in. No, careful. The thing I really like about this option is that it's basically a bug net with a ground floor on it, and it allows me to have access to her during the night. So I can see if she's cold, if she's scared, or if she's just having any issues or not. So I like being able to kind of just reach out and make sure she's okay and that she's doing well, as opposed to the pup tent. I couldn't see her, so I just keep her bed down there at the foot of my hammock, and then she's perfectly safe. She's enclosed, and that works well for us. So this is my preferred option when I go backpacking with Sherpa. It is a bit heavier than the pup tent, but it allows me to carry my lighter weight hammock, my Dutch netless hammock with the Cloud 71 that I can see through. So I try to compensate for weight a little bit and that way. But it gives me the bug net that I need for protection. It has the ground floor on it, which keeps her closed in and kind of off the ground, and it keeps her enclosed. And then I have, the zipper option here where I can zip and unzip as needed if she needs to get out. So if it's early in the morning and she needs to go out and pee, all I need to do is unzip and let her go. Whereas when she was in the pup tent, I had to get out of my hammock. I had to go open up her tent so that she could get out. So that's another bonus of having her in this type of setup. But mainly I like it because I can have her right below me, and I can pet her and just make sure that she's doing okay. But there are a couple things that I don't like about this setup. The first thing I don't like about this setup is there is some difficulty in getting it set up. So as you saw when I was first setting up the Grand Trunk, I had to kind of take down each of the corners of my hammock and slide them through and then kind of readjust, which is, it's not a huge deal, but it is a little bit of extra work that you have to do. And I'm fine with the way it hangs. I mean, I'm used to hanging a tarp that way. So that works out just fine, as well as the stakes. But just like my pup tent, I don't know about the material here is the greatest. So again, I've had to kind of recreate. The loop stayed on, but the fabric tore. And I think it's because when I pull out my stake, I'm pulling on this and it's just ripping sometimes. So I've had one of the corners rip to do that. The other issue is, so this right here is meant to be a spreader bar. So it's meant to spread out the bug net at the head end as well as the foot end. Well, again, I must be super strong or something, but there's generally these little pockets that you put. So there's a little pocket there that you can put the end of a little tent pole like you would for a tent, and they're on both sides. Well, this one obviously ripped, and it's not too big of a deal. I would like it spread out a little bit, so I'm probably going to work on something to make that work a little better. But again, the fabric just continued to tear on me, so that is not the greatest in terms of trying to set up, because I would like to have that spreader bar and give me a little more room inside of the Grand Trunk. But overall, I do like this setup the best, just because like when I pitch in my tarp, she is completely underneath with me. I don't have to do any type of adjustment or setup to my tarp, whereas if I have the pup tent at the end, then I might have to refit my tarp a little bit differently. Here she's completely going to be safe and dry with me underneath the tarp, and again, I like having access to her. Those are the two options that I use when I go backpacking with Sherpa. The pup tent, which is great. It's lightweight, easy to set up. She can get in and out of it really easily, but the fabric is delicate, so you need to be careful when pulling out those stakes. And the main reason I don't like it is that she's enclosed, but she's enclosed away from me. I don't have, access to her. I can't pet her. I can't monitor her to see how she's doing. And so that's why I really moved to the Grand Trunk, that kind of enclosed bug net with the floor on it. But that way she can lay down right beside me. I can pet her. I can see how well she's doing, and she's still in a safe enclosed space. I definitely prefer the Grand Trunk. It is definitely more setup is involved. It is a heavier option, but I just like the ability to have her right beside me when I'm sleeping at night. So that is what I prefer. I'd love to hear the different types of setups that you folks may use when you go backpacking with your dog when hammock camping. I'm always looking for lighter weight options, easier setup, always trying to improve my gear and make it a more enjoyable camping experience when I'm out there. So I'd love to hear any feedback or comments that you have. Well, thanks for making it to the end. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.